What is up, everybody? I hope you're all doing well. It's been a minute since I've made a YouTube video. I think it's been like 2 weeks since the last time I uploaded. So I thought that this video, what we're gonna do is just talk about 3 things, the cat not being one of them. Ironman Arizona, the results of all of that, the hat drop, the effect drop V1, how that went with everything, plus kind of what the next drop is gonna look like. And then I guess leading into 2026, ideas of things I want to pursue, races, stuff like that. Before I get into anything, I just want to start off by saying a massive thank you to every single person who has said such nice, kind things to me after Arizona, after the hat drop. Just like last week as a whole was surreal. Sunday, November 16th was Ironman Arizona, which I ended up completing in 9 hours and 17 minutes. I was so extremely happy about that. I feel like I finally had a day that the performance on race day exemplified or resembled what my actual training looked like. So I feel like it was kind of like a hand-in-hand thing. So that went super well. Monday was a recovery day. I think it was the start of the BPM Black Friday sale and Gymshark sale. So that was just kind of getting that all out there. I get back to Austin, I want to say like Tuesday afternoon around that, really didn't do anything. And then Wednesday was the hat release, and that went so well. It was such an awesome time. And then yeah, the rest of the week was kind of just getting back in the flow of things. Megan and I are heading back to Connecticut for Thanksgiving Wednesday, November 26th, I want to say 25th, 26th. Yep, that's the days of the week work. So it'll be cool for her to just kind of once again see where I'm from, where I kind of grew up and everything, meet the family and all that. And then once I get back from Connecticut, I think I get back that Sunday, so November 30th maybe. That's when we're getting back into like a full swing of things with training, with content, with YouTube especially. Gavin was actually just at my house right before this, and we were talking just general gist of getting back in the groove of things. So YouTube, consistent content, 1 video a week, kind of always the target goal, but getting back into the groove with all that. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more. I wanna go in order. Let's start with Ironman Arizona. I don't think I ever explicitly said in a YouTube video that I was doing this race, and that was intentional. I ended up signing up for this race like 1 or 2 days after the Ironman World Championship in Nice, France. To be quite honest, I was very disappointed with my performance in France. Given everything that I was going on with food poisoning and whatnot, I didn't want to use that to be an excuse. Like I still wanted to like do my absolute best, and I felt like my performance on race day 100% did not resemble the amount of effort that I put into training for that race. And while I was extremely frustrated and somewhat questioning all of my hard work for a result like that, I didn't want it to defeat me. I didn't want it to be like something that defined me, and I could just be like, yep, Ironmans just aren't for me. This isn't the race for me. So I decided to give it one more shot and sign up for Ironman Arizona. There's something about the mental challenge of a full Ironman that intrigues me so much. So I talked to Parker on the phone. He was hesitant at first, but as he always is, he supports whatever goal I set out for. And he was like, all right, let's do it. So we had pretty much like 4 solid weeks of 25 to 28 hour training weeks. The volume was high, but it never really felt that way. And I really do think so much of that is due to the fact that like after I got back from France was when Megan moved down here from Michigan. So when in the past I would just do all this training and then just sit back and be like, all right, now the only thing I can think about is like my next training session, or just like hyper focus on how the previous one went. It's like I would train and then Megan would be like, let's go out to dinner, or like she'd be like, hey, like let's go do something else. And she was able to like pull me away and help me to find that separation between like athlete and human being. And I feel like over the past year, those lines have been blurred at times because I've become so devoted to the athletic side of things that it's, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely what I want to be doing, but you need to have that kind of time in your life, time in your days where you turn off, where you flip the switch off, and you're not hyper focused on only your performance. You can look at the holistic view of life. So Sundays would come around and I'd be like, wow, 28 hours of training, 250 plus miles on the bike, 50 plus miles of running, 15K plus yards in the pool. It didn't feel like that. And that's why kind of leading into this prep, I started to develop this like really good feeling in that month of October, where it was like the actual true month of training for Arizona. I was like, not only do I feel good physically, but mentally I'm there. Like I feel just so much more excited and motivated to train. Whereas in the past, I would look at these like big sessions that I had to do, and it was just almost like doing them to make sure I didn't fail the race as preparation. Whereas now I was looking at it as like a means of getting ahead and like pushing harder. I'm like, oh, I can do this, so that means I'm racing, I can do that. Whereas in the past, it was like a preservation. It's like, okay, because I was able to do this, I can like hold on and just make it. It's that mindset, and I've talked about it a lot, but it's like, instead of playing not to lose, you're playing to win. And I think that's such an important difference that it can often get flawed, and we can mess ourselves up mentally just by getting nervous about the results, or just putting too much pressure on ourselves to perform, when in reality it's something we're supposed to enjoy. We are voluntarily signing up to do these races or to compete for these things, so it should be enjoyable. It should be something that you can look back on and be like, I'm happy that I'm doing this, not that you're getting into such a frenzy because of objective measurements that are then like affecting you subjectively and like your interpretation of yourself. Leading into it, I felt really good. And I didn't say anything. I told very few people. I remember I texted Nathan and Joey, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this race with you. It took me another 2 weeks to tell Nick because I didn't wanna, get in his way or anything. And then I didn't even tell the whole BPN team. I told Megan, my dad, and then another 2 weeks after my dad, I told my mom, because my dad was like, hey, I'm coming out to see you. He's came to every single race that I've had for Ironman. He's like, I'm not gonna miss this one. My mom, on the other hand, she was like, please take the rest of the year off. Sorry, Mom, I decided not to, but she was understanding nonetheless when I told her. I got out to Arizona the Thursday before the race. The race was on Sunday. Got everything checked with the bike, all that built. Joey and I just spent the whole day kind of roaming around the village, having fun. Friday, Nathan got into town. We went for a swim, a light bike ride, light run. Really just staying off the feet. And to be honest, this was like the best that I felt mentally going into a race. I know I said that previously, but more so in the idea that like it didn't feel like I had a race coming up. It felt like I was just like in Arizona with my friends and we were just having a good time. And I think that was another component that made this race a lot more enjoyable for me, was that knowing that I wasn't going to be doing it alone and being able to have my very good friends of like Nathan and Joey and Nick, and like looking at them and realizing like, hey, like they're about to go through this struggle with me. Let's like push. Let's be like a catalyst for everyone doing well. Because if I'm going out there and I'm giving my best effort and I'm putting out a lot of energy, like hopefully that'll motivate them to do the same, because I know that like they'd want to push me to do well. So it's like, why don't I do the same for them? And it was funny too, because I would run into people at the village when I was checking my bike. They're like, Luke, no way, what are you doing here? And I'm like, oh, I'm doing the Ironman. And everyone was like, what? And it wasn't until the day before I posted on my Strava and was kind of like, hey, like I'm racing Ironman Arizona tomorrow. And half the people were like, what the heck? And the other half were like, yeah, well, we could tell by the way that you were tapering off your training. Day before race day was Saturday, and I decided to take a slightly different nutritional approach than I had in the past. What I put a great focus on this time around compared to any time in the past was I pretty much ate very little fat and very little fiber, especially little fiber. But the reason why I thought about like not consuming that much fat was because like obviously fat is the most calorically dense macromolecule. It's 9 calories per 1 gram of fat, whereas protein and carbs are 4. Therefore, it takes more energy and more time to digest. So in my mind, I'm like, I want to make sure like I'm like as light as possible morning of the race, like feeling the best I can stomach-wise, because France, I felt the absolute worst. So I was like, if I just eliminate all fat, all fiber, just consume it as like the trace macros, and just really prioritize light protein up until like noon, and then after that carbs only, I feel like I'm gonna feel really good. And for me, this worked. And I wanna just emphasize, please like don't take what I'm saying as like a law. And it's like, oh, this is what I must do. This is just what worked for me. In the past, I've struggled with digesting fat or having like steak the night before a race, So I just stuck to like chicken and rice, cereal, bagels, honey. That was it. That was pretty much all I consumed. Sunday morning, race day morning, I had 4 pieces of toast with honey. I had a banana. I had 1,500 milligrams of sodium worth of electrolytes, and then I had a scoop of G1M, a scoop of G1M plus. Additionally, I took 2 Imodium in the morning. Now, people were commenting saying, you should have taken Imodium before the World Championship in France. Guys, I did. I was so sick that I threw up before the swim and thus threw up the Imodium, so it had no effect. Took 2 Imodium, didn't throw up before this Ironman swim start, was stoked about that. Joey, Nathan, and I were pretty much operating together the whole time, so we all got to transition, checked out our bikes, got our tires right, added all our fuel, got our personal needs bag dropped off, went back to like the bike and the run bags, added our nutrition to there. Since there was 3 of us, and we were getting stopped and saying hi to people, as well as just like operating in a bigger group. We were a little late to the start of the swim. So while I usually start with like the hour and under swim group, I ended up having to start with like the hour 20 to hour 30 pace group because I just couldn't get up any further. Not that big of a problem, especially because when we first got in line, we were at the 2 hour mark and I was like, oh my goodness, if I start here, I'm gonna have to swim around a lot of people. And I don't mean that in a cocky way. It's just like, I swim a little quicker than that group. But honestly, a part of me was like, now it isn't as stressful off the rip because I knew no matter what, it was like, I'm gonna be swimming faster than a lot of these people. That's gonna make me feel a lot better. Because at times in an Ironman swim, if you're just going and trying, suddenly someone swims over to you or someone's grabbing your feet, it can get super overwhelming very fast. But as someone who has a pretty okay swim background, I was like, okay, like I'm confident in my fact that like I can swim around a lot of people and just keep going. The trade-off with that was like there definitely was a little wasted energy, and as a result I ended up swimming a 102, which and by no means is bad. It's just I think I wanted to swim, and I think I am capable of swimming a little bit faster. Came into transition 2. I think my transition 2 was like 5 minutes and 12 seconds. Got out on the bike, had a gel and a pickle juice shot in transition 2, and started the bike. And I knew that this bike course was gonna be flat and pretty fast, so I was excited for it. Weather was looking perfect, pretty much a lot of clouds.
There we go, Luke. Keep it up, okay?
The way in which the bike course was structured was it was pretty much 3 out and back loops. So going out, we had like a slight incline, but a tailwind, so it didn't feel as bad. And then coming back, we had the slight decline, but a headwind. So it was pretty neutral the whole time. Whereas in Texas, you had, you know, it was purely flat and then you had headwind, tailwind. So one side was a lot faster than the other. I didn't notice that as much during Arizona. Maybe it was just me, but that was just my opinion. After the first kind of loop, I think I was like 45 miles in or something like that at that point. The road was pretty bumpy. A lot of cracks, a lot of potholes. I don't know what happened, but I ended up hitting something and my aero bars became pretty loose.
I'm putting all my weight on this, so I want it to be pretty steady, but I can like fully lift up and move side to side, like, and you're going to wind and hitting cracks, like these are moving a lot.
I was very hesitant at first with like putting pressure on them, putting any weight, because considering how wobbly that they were, if those broke, I was flipping straight over my handlebars. So what I was doing a lot was I would take a full water bottle and I would have it in my BTA bottle holder and just try and press on the back of the aero pads into like where I felt it was screwed in more tightly to just keep them in place. But then like majority of the time I would actually end up being in like my wide bars and I would just have my head tucked like this, like a true cyclist, if you will. So the bike, definitely a little uncomfortable. I wanted to bike faster than I did, but I ended up biking a 455, which I think was pretty much damn near the same bike split that I had in Texas. So I wasn't bummed at it. Like, I didn't feel like, oh my goodness, I lost so much time. If anything, it was just like, hey, I held the same time right there. Going forward too, and I would love to hear anyone's opinion about this, I ride a size 58 bike frame because I'm using Nick's old bike. I think I'm actually gonna invest in my own bike and get a size 54. I'm 5'9", and even though I have long legs and tried to say like, oh, I can definitely use that bike, it's just, I think that frame spreads me out a little too wide. So for the sake of like aerodynamics and just feeling more comfortable on the bike, I'm gonna be looking into getting a size 54 frame. If people think, great idea, go for it, hype me up. If they say, hey, you're still gonna mess that up, feel free to comment. But yeah, or 54 or 56, I don't know. But I think 58 is a little bit too wide for me. And that was something that my good buddy Will Horkoff, who I actually raced with in Arizona, he came in second place in our age group. He was talking to me about, super good cyclist, super good biker, and that was something that he had told me. So definitely gonna take his advice on that. Now, the most iconic moment of the race happened at the end of the bike. I'm not confident in my ability to unclip and keep my shoes on while I'm still biking. Maybe this is the excuse to learn how to do that. But I unclip and I start riding on my cycling shoes on concrete that's pretty slippery, and I go to take a corner and my feet just go out from under me. Before I know it, I'm on my back, and before I know it, I'm back on my feet, yelling my bag number, waving off people trying to check on me. I get my bag, I run into the tent, I ask the volunteer to throw water on my head, I put my sneakers on, and I head out. My transition to, including the fall, was 1 minute and 38 seconds. Come on, that's pretty impressive.
Hopkins, you better get going, boys.
Hey, you too, brother.
Can I get some more water? Big Bear's gonna catch you next.
Oh, you're gonna catch us all.
2/3 of the Ironman done. I'm on the run course, and all I'm thinking about is don't blow up. Don't walk, don't cramp, whatever you have to do, whatever pace you have to run, you're not walking a single mile. I had been talking about it with Joey in the days prior, but we both had kind of settled like, hey, like a 7:30 pace would be super solid. 7:30 to 7:40, anywhere in there, like we can hold that all day. That's what we kept telling ourselves. So first mile, I'm like 7:30, that's it. So I tried to stay around the 7:30 mark for as long as I could. That was my plan. It was just like hold on to 7:30 for as long as you can, and then just like finish the race.
Come on, Luke, looking strong. Easy money. Let's go. Easy Sunday. Let's go. Let's go, Luke. Come on now. Come on now. Come on, baby. Let's get the car, baby. Love you. Let's go. Finish.
Let's go, Luke. My fueling strategy on this run was I had with me, like right out of transition one, 5 gels, which I was gonna take every 3 miles. And then a Nathan water bottle with 14 ounces of pickle juice in it. 14 ounces of pickle juice is roughly 3,200 milligrams of sodium. So I had that for the first 16 miles of the run, I wanna say. That was my nutrition strategy, was the 5 gels and the 3,200 milligrams of sodium. And the run course was set up as 3 8-mile loops, or I think like 8.5-mile loops. I got through the first 8 miles and I felt really, really good. Like felt like that 7:30 was so easy to hold. There were some miles that I was like low 7s too. And I remember seeing the crowd and the kind of the group that we had, because we ran past our group 3 times. And one, Natasha, had told me that I was in 5th place in my age group. She was like, you can run up to 3rd probably. I'm like, cool. 2, I had saw Nico Felice, BPN athlete, and he was like, dude, like you look great. I'm like, I feel really good, dude. So I was stoked about that. And I genuinely did, but I was hesitant because the mile 8 marker was where I blew up in Texas and had to start walking because I was cramping so bad. So I just kept in my head being like, when's it gonna fall apart? When am I gonna start walking? When am I gonna have to kind of just like mentally tell myself that I can keep doing this? But on the start of that second loop, I felt really, really good. And I said, all right, like, let's see how long we can hold 7:30 for.
You look great, Luke.
I also have to say a massive thank you to all the volunteers who are massive BPN fans. They were cheering me on, handing me water, throwing ice at me. It was awesome. It was really, really cool. And it wasn't until mile 16, so the end of that second loop, that I saw Nico again. He was like, dude, you look great. And like it finally, like that confidence started to hit me. I was like, I feel great. Like I was so stoked. And I realized that I had less than 10 miles at that point before I was finishing this Ironman. And in my mind, I was like, even if I were to start walking now, like I'm going under 10. Like that's what I kept reminding myself. I was like, no matter what, I'm breaking 10. But to me, I knew that. Like, I knew that I was capable of breaking 10 back in Texas, you know, a few months ago. And I just kept thinking, I'm like, even if I go like 950 or 940, like, I don't know if I'd be that fulfilled with my time, because I know how hard I train and I know what I'm capable of accomplishing. So I just kept my foot on the gas and I kept running, and I kept tagging along with other people and matching their cadence and having good conversation. That run was super enjoyable. Like, I gotta say, such an enjoyable run. At mile 16 though, I hit the run personal needs. I picked up another 3 gels. It was supposed to be 4, but I dropped one. And then another Nathan water bottle with another 3,000 milligrams of sodium. I was not cramping. There was no way I was cramping. In the marathon alone, I had 6,000 milligrams of sodium. On the bike, I was doing 128 grams of carbs and I think 2,400 milligrams of sodium an hour, pouring water on my head and everything too. There was no way I was having a nutritional error with this race. And because I think I had like finally gotten it down to a T of what had worked for me in the conditions I knew I was going to be racing in, I was able to hold a 7:21 pace and run a 3:13 marathon to close out Ironman Arizona. And once I started to near that finish line, I started losing it, man.
Hey! How bad do you want it? Come on! Let's go! Come on!
You got this, man!
Let's go! Let's go, brother! Good work! Good work! Let's go! It's right there! I'm proud of you, brother! Let's go!
Come on, baby! It's done half. Come on, big dog. Leg it out.
Let's go, you got it! You can do this! Let's go! Let's go, let's go!
Thank you.
Great job! Great job, Blair.
Let's go, Luke! Come on, Luke! Let's go! Let's go!
From Austin, Texas, Luke Hopkins, you are an Ironman!
9:17:40 was my official time. 3rd place in the men 18 to 24 age group. Given what I had with the late swim start and the wobbly aero bars, I genuinely think that was the best time I could have gotten that day. Who knows what time I could have shaved off if like those two things weren't taken into account, but like that wasn't the reality I was faced with. This was, and I'm so happy with the result of it. Unfortunately, I did not qualify for Kona with this race just because like the new qualifying system. I think the 18 to 24 age group gets pretty screwed over in my opinion. But that leads me into what I'm gonna talk about third after I talk about the hats, which is like what next year is gonna look like race-wise. That finish line moment was so special to me. I was so happy, so relieved. It felt like so much pressure was taken off my shoulders. And now like this past week, it's been very enjoyable making content and training because I felt like I had centered my life, centered my focus around Ironman training because I wanted to get really good at the sport. I was putting so much time and effort into it. But in my opinion, like I kind of lacked that credibility factor because I hadn't had a complete race yet. I was racing somewhat well, but nothing like complete, nothing to the caliber of my training and the amount of effort that I was putting into. So to have this result now and kind of look at it and be like, I think this is a pretty accurate resemblance of how hard I train, the athlete that I am. It just makes me like excited to train again, to post more and just get back into agreement and continue to share the journey. And everyone that I've talked to in this past week, whether it be people on the internet, close friends, people at BPM, like it's just a different energy. And I'm just so freaking fired up about it, man. So yeah, Ironman Arizona was phenomenal. Shout out to Joey for crushing it, Nick for crushing it, Nathan for crushing it, everyone else who raced. Absolutely amazing time. All the volunteers, everyone who cheered, every single person I met in Arizona. You guys all rock. I appreciate you all so much. Now we get to the hats. The hats dropped on Wednesday, November 19th. I did kind of gamble a little bit, and knowing that I was doing Arizona, I wanted to make the hat drop close to it, bet on myself a little bit and be like, all right, if I mess this one up, I'm cooked. But luckily I didn't. So the hat drop went absolutely phenomenal. We ordered 1,000 hats, me and my good buddy Max. Max and I went to high school together, captained the football team together, like very close high school friends, have stayed close throughout the years. and he came to me with this idea. He's like, dude, like, I'm not happy with what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I want to do something more. And we came up with the idea of like designing clothes, and we were gonna do this whole big drop at first, and I was like, no, like, let's do only hats. And we came up with this very clean, simple hat because like, I don't think I'm a very flashy human being, and I wanted this hat to kind of resemble like what I stand for. It's clean and it's the effect. I didn't want my name to be tied, even though it's like the Luke Hopkins effect was what was going around on TikTok. I think I wanted my name to be excluded from it because I wanted it to be like all inclusive. Like, this isn't just like me, it's like the effect that you can have on other people by being yourself. That's what it's all about. This drop went better than we could have ever imagined.
We sold 300 in 3 minutes.
To anyone that got a hat, thank you very much. And I hope you enjoyed the little card that I signed. We had 1,000 cards, and I wrote a little message and signed my name and gave my signature to every single card because I wanted it to be personal. You know, our first drop, we don't know how many we're gonna do. We don't know what direction we're gonna go in. And like the wide future, you know, in the near future, we have generally an idea, but I wanted to do something special for it. So I wrote all these thank you notes. We sold 1,000 hats in less than 3 hours in the US alone. I think if we would have done international shipping, which like we absolutely are working on, it probably would have been closer to like an hour and a half, maybe even less. But yeah, our biggest priority that me or Max and I are working on right now is international shipping, figuring that out. We are gonna restock the hats. We're not gonna do 1,000 though. We're gonna do a lesser number of them. We're still figuring out what quantity we're thinking about. The only reason why I'm bringing it back because I didn't want to, you know, I want every drop to be like exclusives, but I didn't feel like we gave a fair chance to everyone that supports me by not being able to ship out of the country. So we said, for all the international supporters, one, thank you guys so very much, and for your patience as well. But we're bringing back the hats in the second drop for you, and then we are bringing them back again. Like, we'll drop another hat maybe down the line, but like, this hat won't return after the second drop, and we're not getting 1,000 of them. We're gonna do a smaller number of them. Big focus for drop number 2 is a hoodie, and it's probably gonna be a 1-color hoodie. We're gonna have sizes small to XL. We're also still trying to figure out the approach we want to go because we put out there that we are looking for a graphic designer because Max and I, not that creative. We're sorting through all the emails right now, but I can't stress enough, like, if you are interested, please email theeffect.movement@gmail.com. Please include like a portfolio or some of your past work. That would be super appreciated. But yeah, I would just love to give like a super passionate individual with a lot of like untapped potential a chance at being a part of something really cool. Because at the end of the day, like, that's how I think BPN really treated me. They took a 21-year-old kid at the time and they said, hey, we're gonna give you a chance. And they've done so much for me. So I would love to try and reciprocate that in some way with the effect. I realize I've been talking a lot more in this video than I thought, so I'll make this last part short. But going into the rest of this year and into 2026, I'm not racing again this year. I promise you guys, no more hidden races, that's it. Nothing until 2026. Since I didn't qualify for Kona, I would love to give it one more shot next year. So I'm going to do Ironman Texas again, 100%. I definitely do think I left a lot on the table the last time I did that. I enjoyed the course. This will be the first time I've ever repeated a race course. I've never done the same race twice. This will be the first time and I'm excited for it. So that is April, I think 18th right now. I am potentially gonna do a winter marathon. Like, ideally like that February, somewhere like mid to late February would be great because the last marathon standalone that I did was Grandma's over the summer. I did a 2:53 on a very hard, hot day. I would love to see what my potential run fitness is right now in a standalone marathon in a colder environment, potentially a flatter course. So I'm eyeballing right now, trying to get a general feel for things. I'm not gonna do the Austin Marathon again. I already did that one. It was fun, don't get me wrong, but not doing it again. And then I guess the rest of the year is up for grabs. I do have the 70.3 World Championship in France next year. I think depending on how Texas goes, I might do that, or I might look to do like fair 70.3 course and go for a 70.3 PR since my last 70.3 PR I think is a 4:35. I would like to get maybe in the 4:20 somewhere. I think that's possible. And then it really depends, like I said, how Texas goes. If Kona's on the table, it would be October. So yeah, I think I raced a lot this year, and don't get me wrong, it was a ton of fun. I learned so much, and I think I gained a lot of experience from it, but I don't want to race, I think, 7 times again. If I could race 4 times, that would be super great. Outside of racing, I want 2026 to be a year that I really continue to focus on content. I feel like at times I just would get like imposter syndrome a little bit, especially because I had mentioned with the Ironman, like like triathlon training is like my current identity. It's what I'm putting a lot of my time and effort into, and I felt like I didn't have something like back it up. So I'm like, what am I even creating content for? There's better people out there that could be talking, but now mentally I'm like, okay, I'm fired up again. I'm fired up to be creating reels and whatnot. Also consistently lifting again. I missed it. It's so fun to be squatting and deadlifting. I think I'm still gonna be doing hex bar deadlift instead of regular, but if I can stay like consistent with 3 days of lifting a week, 1 day of PT a week with Jordan and doing those plyometrics, and then plus all the other triathlon and endurance training, I'd be super stoked with that. And I also want to continue to prioritize my relationship with Megan. She is like the best human being in the world. And I really just want to continue to support her and be there for her because she does so much for me. So whatever that may look like, whether it means getting a dog, guys, convince her to let us get a dog, come on. Or just making her continue to feel like this is like our life that we're living together, not that she's just like complimenting my life. That's a big goal of mine for next year. I think that's already a focus of mine right now, but to continue to emphasize that through my actions next year, like that is a #1 priority for me. And then regarding the effect, I mean, if we could do seasonal drops, like 4 seasonal drops and build our way up to, instead of just doing like single items, having like a little bit of a collection, I think that would be awesome. And if there's ever a point that we could do a community event next year, whether it be a shakeout or just like a little meetup for something, that would be really sick. Maybe tapping into activewear towards the end of next year, that could be something cool. But there's just so much to look forward to. There's so much to be grateful for. And I'm just excited to continue to share that journey with you all through these videos. One last thing is that, I don't know if anyone noticed, but like instead of having the titles be like Luke's Life episode 46, you know, just being like that, I'm gonna give like a good title and a thumbnail, and then like it's still Luke's Life. I'm just not keeping track of like specific episodes anymore, because then it's like how would I name this episode, you know? So instead I'll have a kind of like more definitive title as to like what the video is actually about, not just some like, I don't know, ominous words, and then we'll hop into the same like funny video intro, Luke's Life, black screen, Panda, whatever we're doing right now. 2025 is a phenomenal year for so many different reasons, and we still got a month left to close out strong, month and a half really. So I'm gonna continue to make the most of it, and I hope that you all can do the same. Code HOP for BPN, all their stuff. They just released G1M Plus orange flavored. Pretty good. You should try it out if you want to, no pressure if not. Gymshark, code HOP10. I'm literally wearing some running shorts right now. They're 4-inch running shorts. They're new running shorts, I have to say. I really do like a lot. So yeah, code HOP10 if you are interested in that. The Black Friday sale should still be going on too, which is pretty crazy. So you can see if anything's up for sale. I didn't talk about it too much, but this past week since the Ironman, I've been taking my activity super light and really just been trying to get as much sleep and recovery as possible. And the best way I've been able to track that is through Whoop, measuring my deep sleep and my REM sleep every single night, looking at the recovery score. I was doing pretty well. I had like 3 greens in a row, so I was pretty stoked about that. If you want to give the Whoop a try, there's a 1-month free trial down below in the description. Totally your call. And then I don't have anything up to date with the effect yet. We will be starting to work on that second drop and sorting out all the graphic designer stuff. So like I said, please email theeffect.movement@gmail.com if you are interested. And Inner Flame coaching website, anything training plan related, feel free to rip it there. But that's pretty much all I got. I feel like that was a lot of talking. I hope that the videos that I tossed in kind of broke it up a little bit more. But yeah, very excited for what the rest of this year has to offer, and so amped for 2026. But thank you guys so very much for all the support, so very much for believing me throughout this year and continuing to support me through it all. Literally none of this is possible without you all. So I hope I can continue to just like really overstate how grateful I am. Like I don't care how many times I say it, I will say it until I can't anymore. Thank you all so much for allowing this to be my life. I'm so grateful for it. So with all that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. I'm probably gonna go hop on the bike right now if I'm being honest. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of the day, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.